So unless you've been living under a rock, the Black Ops 6 beta has come and went, and with that a lot of different opinions. For someone like myself who's a diehard zombies player, I really enjoyed the multiplayer of Cold War, so I was excited to give this a try. Considering how this game was marketed, the main thing I was looking forward to was the Omni movement, which lets you move in all different directions. Honestly, I wasn't sure how this would translate into the actual game, but when I actually got my hands on it, it didn't go how I thought it would. And by that, I don't mean the game isn't fun, I think it's great, but the movement is crazy. So many times I would sprint across the map and before I turn a corner, someone would dive out of nowhere and kill me. Or other times players would jump off the top of a ledge and hit some crazy shot that I would have never saw coming. Seeing people jumping and flopping all around during each match is definitely different, but you would be surprised how quickly you might adjust to it. I don't use the Omni movement to actually shoot the other players as much, but more for a means of escape. When I'm getting shot and trying to get away, being able to dive more freely from place to place makes it easier to survive for just a little bit longer. This brings me to my next point. This beta is sweaty. I put in hundreds of hours in the Cold War and I don't remember it being nearly this sweaty. If you played at least 2 games, you'll get bodied at least once going forward. Unless you're a beast at shooters, you're going to take some L's. The beta didn't even last that long, but players quickly figured out what the best weapon was and entered tryhard mode immediately. It doesn't matter which map you play on, every game you're going to have to pay attention because these games can get crazy. Speaking of weapons, it didn't take long for everyone, including myself, to realize the Jackal is the best weapon in the beta. I think almost every kill cam that I've seen during the matches, the opposing player was using some modified version of the Jackal. Now I get why we all use it, because it's small and compact and also so strong. When you unlock more attachments for it, the weapon becomes an absolute tank. However, just like past CODs, I can almost guarantee you that this weapon will be nerfed by the time this video releases or upon the actual release of the game. Thankfully, my go-to is the AK-47, so I don't mind at all. In regards to the maps, I thought they were decent. I don't know about you, but I really didn't like Scud. I can't put my finger on it in regards to what's wrong with it, but something is off. It could be the spawns, but us running to a giant satellite in the middle of the map is just kinda eh. The way I feel about Scud is similar to how I feel about Rewind. I didn't get any footage of myself playing on this map, but that map ain't it. There's just way too many hiding places for people to go, so when you're running from place to place, you can constantly get sniped. It could be due to my playstyle, but I wasn't feeling these two maps much at all. On the other hand, I absolutely love Pit and Gala. Both of those maps are very small and cater to exactly to how I like to play the game. In the beta, you can play on those maps in the 6v6 mode face-off, and the mode is actually really fun. I'm the type of gamer that likes to run and gun constantly, and these two maps allow you to do that. Gala is a bit bigger than Pit, but both have middle areas where all hell breaks loose. What I like about these maps is that it's hard for people to snipe and camp on these. You actually have to run around and get kills, and if you are able to snipe, then you can do it really fast. Normally on these other maps, people just lay back and camp, and then you wonder why you got shot from what feels like out of nowhere. However, on these maps, that's not the case. Especially on Pit, each game is absolute chaos. As soon as you spawn, you only have a handful of seconds before some enemy reaches your vicinity. To sum it up, when it comes to these maps, which one you like may depend on what type of player you are. If you like hectic and fast-paced action like me, then you'll like Pit and Gala. But if you want to sit back and snipe, then Scud may be up your alley. The one map that I'm torn on is Derelict. When I first started playing this map, I really enjoyed it, but as time went on, it kinda dropped to being 50-50. I love the fact that it's chaotic, but there's also a lot of weird angles that you can get shot from. Like when you're running from building the train car, you can get shot from someone hiding by rocks nearby, but the actual angle of the shot is off. It's hard to explain, but this map is one that I enjoy sometimes, and other times I don't. I thought the spawns weren't that bad, at least for me. Most of the time I had to run somewhere in order to engage with the opponent instead of immediately getting shot as soon as I spawned in. Maybe your experience depends on which map you play, but I went into this expecting to be spawn trapped, but that wasn't the case in this beta. Yeah, there were times where you spawn in and someone just happens to be sniping in your direction, but that wasn't all the time. It's more like some matches the spawns were ass, and the others they weren't. When it comes to the spawns, hopefully it's tweaked a bit before release because it could still use some work. In regards to the menu and customization, I thought it felt more Black Ops-y than Cold War. Just the way everything is laid out felt really nice. Adding attachments, looking at the leaderboards, and just the overall menu layout lines up a bit more with how it was in the older COD games. Now this could be just because it's in the beta, but I've always hated the entire COD HQ feature. It makes navigating everything so much worse. Now once you find the beta, it's not hard to find what you're looking for, but even still, COD HQ just sucks. One thing I thought was nice was how you could get like a specialty perk for equipping 3 of the same perk within one weapon class. I don't know if this was in the game before, but when I was configuring my loadout, I actually had to see what this was because I didn't recognize it from past Call of Duties. Just something notable that I saw within the loadout customization screen. There are two issues that I want to bring up. The first being the overall color of the players. It could just be me, but I thought it was hard to distinguish the opposing players from the environment sometimes. I mean, I can see them, but a lot of times in dark areas, everything seems to blend together. Maybe it's a lighting issue, but if there was a way to brighten the character models ever so slightly, it might fix this. I didn't notice it much when on the brighter maps like Skyline, but on the ones with darker areas, this did bother me a bit. The second was the stuttering. Now, I don't know if this was an internet issue or just a beta issue, but when in the middle of a match, the game would like stutter at times. Like when you're running, everything is fine, but then you get shot or there's an explosion and it just freezes for a couple seconds. I checked my internet and my connection was good, but this was a small issue that could turn into a big one if not addressed. The stuttering not only messes up your gameplay, but ruins the overall flow of your particular match. Hopefully this is just a beta issue and it will be fixed by release. This beta has provided us with a taste of what we can expect in the main game, and overall, I'm pretty excited. The multiplayer is really fun, and this is coming from someone who doesn't really play shooters like that. But when you add in the Omni movement, it really does give you more flexibility in regards to getting kills and avoiding death. I think a big factor that will determine the success of this game overall will be the maps. As I mentioned before, it seems like they're hit or miss, which lines up with most of the recent Call of Duty games. But if Treyarch does what they did with Cold War and adds in the remastered versions of the goated maps like Standoff, Slums, Hijacked, and more, then this game will be peak. Combine those maps with the new ones and I think this game could be one of the best CODs we've gotten in years. If this beta has done anything, it's made me want to play zombies even more, because that's the main reason I play Call of Duty. And with all the controversy surrounding the Liberty Falls map that was revealed at COD Next, I'm definitely going to make a video giving my thoughts on the Black Ops 6 zombie situation. But for now, the multiplayer beta has left a good impression and I will be there when the game launches in October. If you played the Black Ops 6 beta, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.